This is Canada, where the government will help you kill yourself.
Chat, we're moving to Canada. Let's go. Who's with me? Let's get a van. Sell our possessions, get a big van, a big party bus. We'll make a round trip, pick up all the cult members want to go. Party the way out, stop at some bars, have fun on the way out. Set up to Canada.
Since 2016, 45,000 people have been killed using MAID.
A doctor that works in the hospital approached me and asked if I had
Caravan on
ever
up.
considered
So they need help.
No, I was just asking for them to do something about the pain.
I don't know what it says about us that our response is to say, well, how about we offer you the choice to end your life?
Chat, should there, if there's something wrong with you, should you have the choice to end your life so basically, obviously you can with whatever method, but should the government assist you in a safe, clean method where it's not going to traumatize your family, it's not going to be messy, it's not going to be painful, there's no oh, it's a failed attempt and it's even worse for you? Yes, but here's the thing though, where do we draw the line? Is depression something that could be on the list of reasons to do it? Or are we just talking about physical racking ailments that are painful? You're talking about mental ailments or just old age, physical? Because a lot of people are depressed in the moment and they really want to do it and they have attempts on their lives and they wake up in the hospital and then they actually oh wow, I'm glad that I didn't go down that way, and they live very, very happy lives, families, XYZ. Terminal illness, I think.
I have a lot to live for. I'm not giving up, and to even offer me that option is insulting.
I've been in the place that a lot of people who want MAID have been in, where they just want it for an ending. They're like, I've suffered enough, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. And I repeatedly, I think it's 3 times, asked you about organ donation, where you're literally too poor to live, let us take your organs, and you saved us $86 million.
Since 2016, Canada legalized euthanasia for those suffering terminal illnesses with reasonably foreseeable deaths. They called it medical assistance in dying, MAID. And
Medical
in 2021,
assistance in
Canada
dying.
controversially amended the law to extend MAID to people suffering from a grievous or irremediable condition that have no risk of a foreseeable death. And in 2022,
Oh my
MAID
god. That's crazy. They took it a step further. What up, man?
increased 31% with
So people who weren't, it's not just people who are dying now, just people who volunteered who grieve, who are grieving or incurable problems.
13,241 MAID deaths, accounting for 4.1% of all deaths in Canada that year. But with the wait times to have the government help you unalive yourself being shorter than the wait time to receive pain treatment, long-term care, and other medical support aimed to improve the quality of life for people with serious illnesses, many Canadians fear the government is making it easier to die than to receive the medical care that the disabled,
insane.
elderly, and mentally ill need.
Non-contributing members of society, so the homeless are being targeted, elderly are being targeted, mentally ill are being targeted.
Allowing
The
the
bad
state
side
to make
of it.
decisions about who should live and who should die. You don't know what kind of monster you're likely to conjure up doing that.
But why is Canada helping more people
That's
end their
wild.
lives more than any other country on Earth? Is MAID a program to give those who are suffering a more dignified death? Or is MAID a dystopian eugenics program designed to
No
kill
more
those
sad.
stressing Canada's
I'm here for you,
overburdened
Vamp. I love you.
socialized healthcare system? I hit the streets of Toronto to see what Canadians think about MAID and who should qualify
I want
to
to
be
go
able
to
to die.
Toronto.
Do you have any thoughts on medically assisted death here in Canada?
I mean, I think under the right circumstances, yeah.
Okay.
I've lost a family member to it, but it's a different type of grieving. But yeah.
Hey, if that's what you want, I guess go for it. If you got some mental illness, maybe
Toronto.
that should be
You've been to
something a bit closer
Toronto,
up, but
lucky.
especially for older people, if you want to go, you have every right to if you want.
What about a minor?
Not a minor, I would think. You definitely need to be able to, legally make your own decisions.
Let's say I'm depressed and I go to the state and say, hey, I want you to kill me. Do you agree with that or too far?
Too far.
Too far?
Yeah, it's too far.
Good or a bad thing?
Good.
Do you think it should only be accessible to terminal
You can
illnesses
tell
or mental
Tyler's not
illnesses
from
as well?
Canada because of how the Canadians are handling the cold versus how he's handling the cold.
As well.
What was the situation you lost your family member to in that context?
Cancer.
Okay.
When you know it's terminal, she fought 18 years of a phenomenal fight.
Yeah.
But you get to the point where you just want to be on your way with dignity, and I think it was a difficult thing for those left behind.
I want to
but an
go.
important
What the?
thing,
Then how do you know
to be
it's
available to
nice?
her.
Do you think she died a more dignified
Shoulders his
death
ear
than her opinion than she would have otherwise.
Bro, I did not handle
100%,
cold
'cause
well.
She was in her full capacity, and she made her own decisions on that.
It's a bad thing.
Bad thing.
Yeah. Personally, I don't agree with it. When somebody is in that state in their life, they shouldn't have to decide on things like this.
They're not in the mental position to make a competent decision.
In
I've seen
general, I think
vlogs. I guess
being
that's true
human, we
enough.
shouldn't
Chat, whatever you've watched in a YouTube video or a vlog, you've basically experienced, just like how I was on Jersey Shore, basically.
encourage this sort of behavior. It
Love
will
the cold.
probably
Fuck
just,
the cold.
Bring some other problems
Real,
in the
man.
society.
I
No,
mean, I agree. Some people
that's
maybe
crazy.
don't want to live because they are in bad conditions. So I think it's good that they can decide.
What about, let's say I have an illness, a mental illness, like severe depression? Do you think I should be able to end my own life via the state?
I don't think so because maybe with therapy you can and pills you can improve.
Okay.
But it's different if you are like in bad conditions physically.
It's horrible. Horrible?
Yeah.
I'm a little undecided,
Yeah.
but I think if it makes someone happy and they choose it, I would be comfortable based on their decision. If someone's like, yo, do this, I would question that.
Okay.
What's the intent behind it, right?
Do you think your Canadian tax dollars should fund a program that is killing
Oh
Canadians?
shit, taxpayers pay for it too.
No.
I didn't think
Yeah, I
about
guess that's
that.
framing. State-funded euthanasia then, right?
Yeah. Probably not. Like, if
Okay.
it becomes a choice, maybe it'd be more privatized. Yeah, I feel like
Why doesn't the government make some fucking money for itself? Why does it have to tax us? Why can't the government make its own money?
so it can be used for something way
Am
better
I
than what's
tripping?
going on right now.
Do you support
Is this a
state-funded
crazy
euthanasia?
concept, chat?
I do.
What would you guys do if I said that and the FBI kicked my door in? Like the CIA took me in. They're like, what the fuck? He's gonna make us get jobs. People are gonna wake the fuck up. It's a long convo with me. Ain't making my monies. That's how they make money, I guess. Bro, when I lived in New York, bro, that's literally the reason I moved out of New York, because it was so damn cold. I could not handle it. I just couldn't. I don't know. That's why people in New York are so cranky, Chad. It's cold as a bitch in the winter.
If I'm like severely depressed, do you think I should qualify to go die by the state?
No, I think you should help people for that.
And they get $1.
Euthanasia only for people.
Bro, Vamp doesn't pay taxes, and she's like proud of it and like talks about it. Listen, if anybody ever watches this or sees these VODs or whatever, I pay my taxes. TurboTax it.
People who are very sick or, terminal.
It's 28.
Depends, again, like it's case by case, you know. if
That's
you're,
fucking
like,
terrible,
24,
Sammy.
That's really young and like
I think that we need to look at if this person is wanting to
Come at
commit
me.
suicide, then we need to look at mental health
Bro, Vamp's really the mic of this community.
issues, not just let's just kill each other.
I don't know.
18K in taxes? Holy fuck. Means you're making a lot of money. Okay. Chat. God, no.
I think that it's being used in the wrong way in many instances. I
Ouchie.
think now it's getting.
I think, like, I didn't have to pay any taxes, but, like, I think because, like, I got it all written off and stuff like that. But, like, I think, like, after I filed everything, like, what I owed, if I didn't, like, go through all the processes to write it off, if I just, like, paid it, would have been, like, $2,000 or something. Was big time, you know what it is, really. So, like, one cool thing about my taxes, the U.S. to make money, war, yeah. But, one thing with my taxes is, like, when I travel somewhere, like, and go and do something, I make content, I can write all that off on my taxes. So, like, when I went to Vegas, when I traveled to different places, I can write all that stuff off on my taxes.
Getting applied in
War.
situations where I don't think it should be.
Because
so
I'm streaming.
financial hardship, most especially mental illness,
Love
but
war.
especially financial hardship.
Love me a
I've
good
heard of some
war.
stories where people just hand to mouth and they can't get out.
Chat, what about this? New war just dropped. New war idea. We go to war. But this war has a twist. We go to war with another country. And we only send women, hot women, and it's hot women fighting each other. Now that's a war that I think we could get behind.
Out of it, and
Ocean-
this is
the
being
ocean
proposed to them
aliens?
as an option, and I just think it's
Eh?
disgusting in that way. So yeah.
I think in general it can be a good thing. I think it's been probably
Bro, I was thinking of Babe War, and Turk's talking about aliens.
overextended with a little oversight.
Do you think it's being offered to people
The
who
ocean
perhaps should not
aliens,
be offered
like
death?
That's a difficult thing
fish?
to ascertain because I do think that.
Are you talking about fish?
That people do have agency and should have a lot of say in their own matter. It's just a question of probably needs to be better vetted by regulatory bodies, in this case, generally physicians in this.
Do you think it should be state funded? Last question for it.
We do have a healthcare system that is state funded, so if done appropriately, yes, I do.
Do you think, given that Pandora's box is open here, that it'll be sold to certain
In
individuals as
Congress. Ocean aliens.
fix?
Let me look
I
up a
mean, my
YouTube
understanding
video.
is that it already has been, instead of providing a more holistic and more compassionate approach, because I think it might be a quick fix. I think
Nah,
if you
girls
have
would
a terminal
fight.
illness and that's an option you want to take advantage of, I think more power to you, but I just think that it's been pushed in ways that it shouldn't be.
So a government program where I can die if I want to die, if I get 2 doctors to sign off. Good or bad?
I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be someone's choice. They're right. If you don't want to live in a body that doesn't work anymore,
We'll watch it after this
It
video.
should be your right to be able to go. So yeah, I think it's a personal choice. I mean, it's not for everybody, obviously, but I'm telling you, seeing a long-term care home is pretty
Chat,
sad.
krilling yourself isn't for everyone. Based.
I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be able to not know if I'm hungry or
Plain
feeding
Barbie
myself or
girl.
taking care of myself. So I think it's a good thing, and I hope we keep it.
That's track 1, obviously, right? That's the terminal illness. But do you think that should extend to, let's say, mental illnesses, like severe depression or something like that?
Yeah, I think it should include that to certain degrees.
Canadian people don't seem real. Like what? Like this town, this city looks so empty. Like no way all those buildings are full of people doing stuff, like commerce and shit. No way. They just have that for aesthetic. It has to be.
With like lots of peer review, more than one doctor, lots of information thrown at it before any decision made. Yeah.
But what about those who are not terminally ill but still want to die? Let me introduce you to Mitchell, a 42-year-old man who's considered MAID as an option to escape his mental illnesses and financial destitution.
We're here discussing MAID. How did you...
Bro, I don't see a cat in the house or any cat toys or any cat boxes. You want to consider MAID, offing yourself? Bro, consider a cat first. Cat can really change your life, bro.
get acquainted
Come on,
with
bro.
MAID? Tell me a little bit about your story. You kind of start at...
To make an efficient income. It depends on what you're going to war for. Like, when we went to war in, like, Afghanistan, people were like, oh, that sucked. We lost so much money. Bro, the United States stole a fuck ton of shit and, like, disrupted the Middle East, like, economy and, like, drove down gas prices for, like, 10 years. It was crazy, bro. If, like, the USA might not have won, but they won.
At 0.0.
Sure.
Like toppled, like, a bunch of governments, took out a bunch of government officials, so, like, the country couldn't stabilize itself, and then they were, like, switching in leaders.
The first time I learned about MAID was about 4 years ago. I was living in an absolute slum. It had black mold, a foot up the walls. My cat was really sick.
Oh, he did have a cat.
My landlord was extremely abusive. He would knock on the window with a machete. We were raided by police twice, where I'm standing in my boxers being searched and my room's being searched, and I didn't know why. And I was paying $600 a month Canadian for that place. And
that's pretty good. That's like $600. I could put up with a raid here and there and a little black mold. Like that's how bad this economy is getting, chat. I'm gonna put up with a police raid here and there and black mold for cheaper rent.
And eventually,
fuck the mold. My cats can't get sick.
And I learned about MAID, and I started to fantasize about it. I was like, that's my release. I can't do it myself. I've had
was hurting the cat.
Passive suicide.
Yeah.
Most of my life. So I haven't been able to act on it, and I was like,
well,
that's my way out. So I started.
I pay the extra money for my babies, chat, because that's what a father does.
Writing letters, and I started getting.
There's no price tag on keeping my children safe.
Myself ready to apply. I didn't get the documents. There was nothing printed. They were still kind of laying out the rules, and they would have.
Oh, and bro, so I dump all Jinx's cat food into like a big like plastic container with a lid on it, and like the lid has like a little snap, right? And then the other side has like plastic hinges where the lid hinges back, right? This motherfucker Jinx, this fat motherfucker, ungrateful motherfucker, broke that shit open, bro. He broke that shit open and he had it tipped over on its side. So there's cat food on the floor. And he was laying in the food, like passed out in like a coma in the box. And it's like crumbs all over him. He looked disgusting. He looked like he's such a slob. Lamau. And here's the thing is they eat twice a day. 2 big full bowls for all of them. It's too much because my cats are fat. If you've seen them, they're fat. And I know it. I gotta, I don't know, get them a treadmill or something. Fuck, I don't know. So the fact that he did that, the fact that he got into the cookie jar when I was streaming. I was working. Daddy was working to put food in their mouths. And that's what he's doing behind my back. To be honest, I didn't do anything. I just kind of pulled him out, petted him, put him to the side, and cleaned it up. But still, it's the principle.
Would have had it printed out by them, but they postponed it like the week.
Spilled all over him. No, he really did, bro. Like, dude, I don't know. I feel bad. Like, I don't know how to get my cat back in shape. He plays, he runs around, but he's chunky.
Before.
Okay.
For 2 years.
Kai, what up, dog?
So 2027, March 17th is when Made for solely mental illness.
And then cheese.
Tracks back to
Jinx's favorite thing to do, and it's not as bad as much anymore, because like now like I'm in like a nicer place than my last place. So like I have more, and it's more spacious, so I have more like energy and like motivation to keep it clean and keep it nice. But used to, like in my old place, it was literally just a room for me to stream in, a bed, a bathroom, and a little kitchenette. Like, it was tiny, like 5 steps to walk from one side of the apartment to the other. Like, that's all the room it was. Like, toilet here, shower right next to it, sink, and like a little space. It was like a Sims bathroom, right? And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I didn't take all my stuff out of boxes. I didn't decorate because there's just no room. But anyways, when I would get off stream really late when I lived there, I remember I would get those mac and cheese, the instant ones. You just pour water in and then you stir it up in the cup, right? And I would eat it in bed and like watch TV before I go to sleep. And I'd always lay the cup on my nightstand or like next to my bed because it'd be like late as fuck. I just got off stream and I'd like throw it away. So 3:30 in the morning. And so Jinx had a habit of licking the bowls clean. So now he just loves mac and cheese, bro. He's a mac and cheese fiend. Like, if he sees one of those little bowls, bro, and like I throw it away, he'll freak out, try to get in the trash can, tip that shit over. Like, I just had to stop buying them, bro, because honestly, it was fucking tweaking him out too much. Yo! What the fuck? Chat. Hold on a second. What the fuck? Do we have a Michael in chat? Sorry. Is there a Michael in chat? Any Michaels? Michael L. You left your lights on. No, I'm kidding. Is there any Michael L's in chat? Oh, wait. Shout out to Michael L for the Cash App. The $20 Cash App. I appreciate that. Hell yeah. Did they leave a message? No message, no anything. W. Michael. Professor, okay. Meave, don't push it. I've been proud of your growth recently.
Around when I was 17, that was the first time I was hospitalized. And
shout out Michael. I don't know if you're in here. Maybe they found me on something else and just wanted to bless me up. Shout out Mike.
They put me in there for a couple months, and I found out I had social anxiety, generalized anxiety, PTSD, borderline and histrionic personality disorders.
What's histrionic
depressive disorder?
Personality disorder.
They all nodded together. And I suspect now, later on, that I probably had autism too. And I was bullied and beaten up.
Me for real.
And so it all...
Lit on fire? Bro, this guy's had the worst life ever.
Kind of came to a point where I was like, I'm going to end my life. And I was going to steal my dad's gun and do it. And so I told them, and they took me to Homewood here in Guelph, the mental hospital downtown. And when the doctors told them my whole diagnosis, by the time I was 18, a year later, I was homeless. I started selling my body at the age of 18, homeless, without any family, and that was downtown here at Guelph. And that just adds to the trauma. And it feels like it's almost like a blank zone. I was homeless seven times, hospitalized 14 times. Lost track of how many clients I was with. It destroys you inside, and you become so dehumanized. Diagnosed with 2 more mental illnesses since the homelessness.
So did you speak to a doctor initially? Did you
Real
say, hey,
rock
I'm considering this?
bottom.
What are your thoughts?
That's fucked up, Kato.
No.
He might have been a
So you
top.
never got that far at that time.
That far because I was waiting for March 17th. Was when they were going to make it eligible for people with solely mental illness, and I knew I'd have a fast pass.
And then Mitchell and I went downtown to discuss another group he thinks Made may be targeting.
We're here right now because you used to live here.
Yeah, actually, when I was 18,
Well, I
I
mean
first
like
found
that, I
myself
promise. Oh, my bad.
here in the downtown core of Guelph. You can feel the temperature right now with that wind. Imagine being in a small little tent and having just cardboard to sleep on. Your mind really starts to wander, and as I said earlier, you dehumanize yourself and you start to think of yourself as less, and that really, it leads towards you considering things like MAID or on your own. But MAID would be in place where you'd be able to get accepted for it and someone would do it for you. And if that's the problem that's stopping you, if you're stuck at, passive suicide, then you get that extra nudge that you don't really need when you're already vulnerable.
Do you think people who are homeless will be targeted by the
Damn.
MAID agenda?
I absolutely think so, just because through my own experience, I gained that agoraphobia and bulimia, and that made me eligible for MAID, and therefore that's already the targeting in place.
Do you think there will be people calling the hotline?
Agoraphobia is one of the things that'll make you eligible for it. That's insane, because I've been like that in my life.
Or will they be
Like legitimately, Chad, I've been like that where I couldn't leave the house.
positioned and sequestered by those offering MAID?
I think a lot of people will call the hotline on their own.
Like when I lived in New York, I probably didn't leave my apartment. Literally didn't leave my apartment. DoorDashed everything delivered. I had people who would get me stuff for probably like 2 to 3 months. It was crazy.
Because it's a very private matter, but I also think that there is going to be a group of professionals that are going to try and push it onto us like they have with veterans and Paralympians in the past.
Amidst this housing crisis and this unaffordable living.
That's scary. I've been like that. It was just like, it was a big mix of things. I just moved. I had just gone through a giant breakup of 12 years. I was on a bunch of drugs. I had so much shit going on, bro. And then I was like in an environment I didn't know that was like kind of a rough area. It was a super rough area. Fuck it. And yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience.
Crisis. Could anyone end up in this position right here in Canada right now?
Yeah, I think anyone could. I think if you lost your rental or you had a disagreement with the landlord or they got greedy or, a lot of these corporate landlords are evicting entire buildings and increasing the rent. So you might feel safe right now. You might be at home saying, well, I'm not disabled. I've got a house. That can be taken away from you so easily. I mean, all these people weren't born to be homeless. They were born to parents and they have brothers and sisters and
That's
families.
so
somewhere
crazy.
Like they're at the edge of society and
yeah, bro. If like I said, I don't really have any kind of like this way about like politics or the world right now. Like I'm just trying to treat everyone around me well and give a little bit of joy and happiness to everybody. But like if the economy doesn't get better, bro, and like that's all you can hope for is you gotta hope for a better future and try to hope for the best and be positive about the shit. But like, bro, homelessness is sneaking up on a lot of people real quick with these raises and rent, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Get some sleep if you need it, Smith. Like, he's right about one thing. Landlords can just raise rent on you, bro. They can just do that. Like, they're all right, your lease is up. I appreciate you, and if you want to stay living here, the rent's increased by $200. Like, shit like that, bro. That's scary.
they're at their most vulnerable, and I think that's why MAID is an absolute atrocity right now.
I need to start there with the landlords.
To be the priority over.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with the housing crisis and rent crisis or whatever the fuck, but criminal. It's insane, bro. It's literally insane. It's scary because like right now, like the reason why that's like kind of like I thought about that a little more is because like I'm literally going through that right fucking now. Like basically, my landlord was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep renting to you guys because to make your section of the apartment, I gotta do XYZ with the state, and it's gonna cost me this much, and I'd have to like raise rent, or I don't know if I can keep you guys down there to get the repairs. So, I'm just kind of in limbo, just waiting to hear from him. Van life incoming? Fuck no. I mean, like, I would live in a van if I had to, but like, I need internet to set my computer to stream, bro.
Giving these people homes and safety and comfort.
And as we were talking, this dude heard what we were discussing and
praying for you, thank you. And the thing is, like, I got one of the cheapest things I could find here. There's the government getting away. Yeah, and the thing is, like, the things that were wrong with it are like this. For example, like, it's a 2-story building, and on the front 2 sides of it, you can see the whole thing. But on the back two sides of it, the part where I'm in is like underground, right? So you see how these windows you can't really see, but you see how they're kind of higher up on the wall? That's because there's dirt right outside, or it's not all the way up to that. So the windows are higher, so in on this side of the house. So this wall and the wall behind me, right? On this side of the house and then this side, the ground is higher. And so apparently one of the things is the windows in here are too high from the floor. So like this, where the window pane is behind me, is too high from the floor. So if there was a fire or something, the average sized person, it'd be difficult for them to crawl out through that window. So that was one of the things. Another one of the things was how our water heater system was set up, because it was just set up so poorly, and a couple other things. But like those are the things, and like you'd have to like structurally like tear out like the wall, like lower the dirt outside, I guess. Like it would kind of be like an undertaking for sure. So like I understand where he's coming from, but like at the same time, like the government knows like we're going through fucking hell with housing and pricing. Like why the fuck are they breathing down landlords' necks about that kind of shit?
Wanted to share his personal story about MAID.
Okay, so we just bumped into you. Can you tell me a bit about your story?
I was almost murdered about a year ago here in this town by a gang of 6 guys. It was awful. I don't really want to get into too much about that, but my rehabilitation has encompassed basically me just taking care of myself and the people of the community, helping me out. The system's completely failed me. When all this happened, the only kind of help that I was really offered by victim services was therapy kind of help, and if I chose, I could take MAID.
So immediately you were presented the option to...
He was almost murdered, survived, and going through PTSD and depression and trying to get back to work, and they're like, well, we can kill you. I mean, we can do it for you. I mean, shit.
To end your...
Bro, you guys ever had the monster rehabs? They're pretty gas.
From life.
Yeah.
They do have a little bit of sugar,
crazy, right?
but only 3 grams, and I can deal with that.
I fought off
what an
6
option.
thugs to stay alive. There would be no reason for me to want to take my own life. Just the assumption that somebody is going through struggle, that they can't handle themselves or they can't accept help and bring themselves back up is atrocious. I have
like
a lot
Jews,
to live
yeah.
for, and I'm not giving up.
Wanna try those? They're like a tea lemonade.
Insulting.
You are also telling me that you know someone who was presented with this
tastes like
option.
Arnold
They took
Palmer.
it.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
A member of our community here, absolutely going through hard times, emotionally, mentally.
Hell yeah, Mulan.
At the same time, to know that there could have been another
It's
way.
got like the caffeine and all the stuff that Monster has, plus stuff for rehydration like BCAAs, vitamin C, some extra sodium, panthic acid like B12, potassium, yeah, B6.
And that all of his friends,
But you can't. But here's one thing I noticed. It's like, oh, so you should drink those more than regular Monsters. No, because well, I thought that would be a good idea for me. I'm like, oh, that's 3 grams of sugar. I could fucking. That's not a big deal. So I was like, I'll drink those all the times instead of regular Monsters to stay hydrated. No, if you drink like 2 or 3 in a day, or maybe even 2, they'll give you the shits, bro. Don't do that. Trust me. Fuck, it's snowing tomorrow. Bro, it's been snowing here. What the fuck?
To them kind of feel the same way.
Snows
it's
every damn
traumatizing
day.
to the community, actually. I guess we're kind of talking about the homeless situation in MAID right now.
Specifically, them being targeted.
Around like noon to 1 every day, all the big mountains around us here in Utah, like I guess winds or something's moving over them, and they just blows all the snow off the mountains. So there's like a flurry of snow every day.
Or at least coerced into maybe using that as an exit from their financial
You're
or
in Utah,
psychological
yeah.
hardships, right?
Yeah, I'm
It's
in a
kinda
situation
wild.
right now. I'm homeless due to this story I didn't really get into too many details about, but through my process of the system, it's almost impossible to
shits,
get out.
the
There's
runs.
lots of priorities that are put in place to make certain sections of the
boo-boos.
community not really have options. If you're in need
It's
of
cold
help
from the
and there's
window.
no help for you, the amount of abandonment can lead people to making poor choices. The stress in our society is
Literally, all I
growing.
do is go to the gym and come home right now because of the cold.
You can bet there's going to be people choosing the easy way out.
While those who are severely depressed, mentally ill, or financially hopeless, like when Mitchell considered MAID as perhaps a painless exit, what about the physically disabled who are being offered MAID without ever even asking for it? But real quick,
I'd be like, go on down the road, you fuck.
That is miracle yourself. Yeah. What is the /Tyler?
We love you, Tyler, but we're not joining your Patreon.
Oliveira for less than $5 a month. Heather, you're in a
One
wheelchair.
day.
What is the condition you have?
I have spastic cerebral palsy.
But apparently there is this place not too far from me, but you have to hike like 2 miles, and there's hot springs, and it's like getting in like a hot tub. And so you can hike up there in your warm clothes, and then you like change your bathing suit really quick while it's underneath your clothes, and you can hop in it, and it's like all steamy and cool. So I thought about when it gets a little colder and maybe the snow sticking for like just the visual of the video. I make a YouTube video of me going up there, hiking through the snow, you know, whatever, blah, 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 braving the conditions and getting in. There's only one Patreon crowd. I'll join. Hell yeah, that's pretty cool. It'd suck if I got up there and forgot my bathing suit and I'd have to get in my underwear.
I was born with it. I was born very premature and should not have lived, but God had other ideas.
You're a miracle yourself. Yeah.
She's a preemie.
There's no reason that I should be here. I was born at 25 weeks gestation, weighing 1 pound and 6 ounces.
Yeah.
Before NICUs were invented, and I was breathing on my own. There's no reason I should have been breathing on my own except for God. And I'm here because I'm concerned with the Pandora's box that this is.
Heather, when were you first made aware of the existence of MAID being offered by the government?
I was
an epic Arctic journey. It will be for me.
Introduced the legislation. The disabled community saw the threat right away.
The threat of eugenics?
Yeah, exactly. They'll start with the terminally ill, of course, but that's just the start off point. 2017, I started to have issues where I was having muscle spasms that started from my low back and would fire straight down to my toes and would basically lock up every muscle between those 2 points. So, second hospitalization, I had a hospitalist, which is a doctor that works in the hospital.
Damn, she's had it rough. I have a big coat, fortunately.
Considered asking for MAID. The first time I was just stunned. I'm asking for pain control, not for death. My unfavorite nurse was on and I had to use the bathroom, so I rang for that and she came. I got back to the bed with no assistance from her. As she was putting the side rolls up, she said, "Have you ever considered MAID? Because this isn't quality of life, this is existing." And I just said to her, "You don't get to make that call." She said, "Well, if I were in your position, I'd take it in a heartbeat."
That's crazy. Someone said that to her. Offer it or direct them to it. That's for real. See ya, Mulan. Love you.
And I said, "The answer is no. God put me on this earth and he's the only one taking me home." And then she
crazy
said,
shit.
"You're selfish." That was like, whoa, this is going somewhere not good fast.
Yeah. You mentioned that you were offered.
And then she said she's selfish.
Of Canada?
Yeah, I was offered it twice in BC or British Columbia, once in Alberta, which is in Saskatchewan, and I thankfully have had really good care here so far. It's more prevalent than you would ever imagine.
It's already absolutely
insane.
clear that Canada has a housing problem. It's a crisis right now. Those lumped together with the fact that there isn't an increase in mental health support, there isn't an increase in addiction and drug support. In fact, there's a decrease. We just lost our safe consumption site, and there's already been 2 deaths. So people who are left in the behind are just going like, okay, so 2 years for an eye surgery, or 8 years for a hip, or those, and they feel so stressed out. They know they're not going to get mental health support. They know they're not going to get the drug support they need, and they're already so dehumanized, especially when you're homeless and you don't have a place in the world. You really have to deal with an identity crisis. And so I've been in the place that a lot of people who want MAID.
We're gonna watch Ocean Aliens after this chat in Barreku.
Where they just want it for an ending. They're like, I've suffered enough. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. They repeatedly, I think it's 3 times, asked
for
me
procedures because they have free health care. You know?
Donation, because they want to have the organs of these people who are too poor. And so what does that make it, that the rich are too rich to die and that the poor are too poor to live? It just becomes a second-tier healthcare system in itself.
Listen, everyone's about free healthcare, and like, bro, like, obviously that would be awesome if it worked, bro. Like, every country that's free healthcare, bro, you have to wait like 10 years for shit, 20 years, 30 years. Bro, I've heard of stories where people are like literally like dying and like in like agony and in pain and this, and they have the doctors there to do it, but with all the government procedures and how the funding goes through and the processes it takes, because literally everyone in the country is filing for, oh, I got a sore eye, Oh, my fingernail hurts. Oh, I got stabbed in the fucking heart and I need heart surgery. Oh, I have cancer. Like, the government has to process and take care of all those people, issue payments to the doctors, get the funds, get the facility. Like, it's an insane amount. What up, That's why, like, in America, like, you can get a surgery. Like, all right, we can prep you and get you ready tomorrow night. What's your insurance? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very prevalent. Of course, there's stories in America where, like, there's been waits and things like that. And, you know, during COVID, when everyone, like, oh my God, I feel a little weird, and they just rushed the hospitals. Of course, like, things were backed up then. Are you with insurance companies? I've been very fortunate that, I mean, when I was younger, I was in the hospital a couple times. I was break bones, get cuts, need stitches. So my parents took care of it. But in like my adult life, I've only been in the hospital twice. So I'm very fortunate not to deal with too much stuff like that.
Homeless people, people with drug addictions, mentally ill. Who's on the hit list of the MAID program in your worst case scenario?
I think all of the above, because I try to correlate together that, okay, homelessness, you get agoraphobia, you get bulimia, you get these stress PTSD kinds of things. With drug addiction, you can have different kinds of psychoses or mental illnesses pop up from that. And a lot of these people who get into those drugs and alcohol is because they're escaping from being on the street.
There's been instances here where people have to wait
That's
up
what I
to
like to
5
hear.
years for treatment.
I'm doing good.
But they can have MAID in 91 days.
Getting excited for the subathon coming up.
For them to get
the 25th chat.
Than to kill themselves.
Exactly. It's our government. And to get rid of people that have chronic conditions that use up a lot of healthcare dollars. The people that they see as non-contributing members of society. So the homeless are being targeted. Elderly are being targeted. Mentally ill are being targeted. Though they say they're on hold, but it's just really just a facade. And children are next. They're trying to push through euthanasia for children with severe illnesses or
to get made. Yeah, I mean, even that. But that's the quickest.
Themselves.
What's
so
up,
that
Angelic?
Their parents consent to ask for MAID. That's what they're trying to pass, yeah. It'll be under the guise of chronic illness and stuff. So there's at least been 2 or 3 cases of people in poverty unable to pay bills, looking at homelessness, choosing MAID first. Like the numbers
That's
are
crazy.
Get the stats up here. And in 2016, 1,018 people chose to die by MAID.
Okay.
In 2017, 2,838 people.
Oh my
died by
God.
MAID. A doubling at least.
I miss
2018,
you.
4,493. Double again. 2019, 5,665. And we're entering the
I
pandemic.
missed you too.
Big turning point.
2020,
Doing some
that
YouTube.
jumps to 7,611. 2021 jumps to 10,092. 2022, 13,241.
That's insane.
I heard that figure could double for 2023
Why are people ending their lives?
because their choice for healthcare is being denied.
Do you think the doctors see it as a productive, compassionate alternative to the healthcare, or is it just cost effective?
Well, I think the doctors are being sold a narrative and buying into it. Some aren't, some are quitting. I think my doctor retired in 2016 because he saw the writing on the wall, and he's a Christian doctor. He couldn't be part of that. Yeah. I also couldn't find proof of this, so I can't back it up. But there's also organ donations have gone up exponentially since MAID. That's one of the last things they ask the family is if they'll donate their organ.
You're too expensive.
That's
but we want
insane.
your organs. It's dark.
It's evil.
For the Hippocratic
downright
Oath.
evil.
What I've learned is that MAID at its core is
There's a
coercive.
correlation there. That's
It's been whispered
wild.
to me. I feel
You
drawn
know how much
to
they
it all
make
the time
off those
because it is that
organs?
exit. It's replacing that passive suicide with a physical person who can do it for you at the end of the line. There's a lot of stories, if you look them up, there's a Canadian Paralympian who was offered MAID, a lot of veterans. That was a big shocker a year or two ago. They're being
Veterans?
offered MAID instead of help with palliative care or maybe hospitalization.
They
You get
serve
that-
their country. They go to war, do whatever they need to do. They get PTSD from it. They get their leg blown off from a mine or what the fuck ever, and then they come home to their country. And instead of having money to get them the right treatment and care, they say, "We can kill you." That's nuts.
that kind of that push and that draw from those kinds of people. And then
Canada
you got
is
lobbyists like Dying
wilding.
Dignity, where they come into the picture and they don't care about the poverty issue, the homelessness issue, all that. They're pushing it for a right to die. So they're saying, you know, it's dying with dignity. But my question to them is, how can you die with dignity if you didn't live with it first? A lot of us in the community have that passive vitality, so we won't act on it. But if there's somebody down
your
there
doors unlocked at night,
going to do it for you, that's the coercion.
I saw
that's
this.
The easy way.
I saw this video, and it was like, it was It was like the Scream guy, and he was like stabbing someone a bunch of times really fast, and it said first night in Toronto or something.
Yeah, and when you're facing all these things, homelessness, poverty, drug addiction, mental health problems,
This is what
especially when you're in
to me.
psychosis, how do you make the right decision?
At the point in which you were offered MAID, had you indicated any desire to end your life?
None whatsoever. No, I was just asking for them to do something about the pain. Nothing they gave me was helping.
If you didn't have the condition.
Turk, we need to drive up to Canada with like as much Excedrin as we can fit in my Jeep and just be selling it to these people. An alternative.
They would have offered you MAID in that context?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's ending a life. It's murder as far as I'm concerned. And I know there's a lot of countries right now debating this topic, which is why I'm talking about it, because I want those countries to know that it's a Pandora.
This lady sounds like she's on NPR right now. Charge big bucks.
Once the lid's off, there's no.
Bro, they would arrest us in Canada.
Can you tell me about the
Throw us in
advocacy work
slammer.
you're doing and your position on all of this?
Sure, yeah, I'm trying to make sure that everyone understands.
Bro, if I lived in Canada and I talked to like this about this video, you know they could fucking arrest me. If I was like the government's fucked up for this. They're evil. They're killing people. Like they could arrest me, bro. Then offer you MAID. Yeah, exactly. Like they could throw me in jail for like talking bad about the government. At the Mounties. What up, Sweet Brown? We could take me. Tyler, what up, Sweet Brown? Really? Yeah. That's why like free speech is like, you know, an American thing, because we can actually be like, you know, people have literally said the most horrific things about Joe Biden, you know, Donald Trump, you know, Obama, like they can say those terrible fucking things. You say that shit in another country, bro, on social media or around, you can go to jail for it.
And this is not a black and white issue. That, you know, if you ban all those seniors and people that advocates fought for their ability to be able to end their life.
And in the UK, I heard recently that there was some comedian joking around about Parliament, making jokes about them at one of his comedy shows. And he got put in jail for like 60 days for it.
Near, you know, the end of their own life as it is with stage 4 cancer and all that kind of stuff. That needs to be cemented and kept strong. But track 2 is the threat. It's a threat to people with disabilities.
I think in Canada it's not as bad. It's like mostly like fines, and then you get like records, and then you get like community service and shit. Like you don't like really get locked up or anything too. That's true. Sammy lives there and she confirmed it. Like, Canada's a lot more lax about it, but you can go to jail. There have been people who have, but normally you more like get fines and shit and like community service and stuff like that.
It's a threat to everyday people, because people with disabilities are made up with people who are in car accidents, victims of assault from a partner.
But in Europe, they'll lock you up.
Injured. And all of them are falling under the disability
For
tree now.
speeding.
And some of those people are being denied workplace benefits, or they're dealing with that violent partner still, and they're stuck there because of the benefits or because of homelessness. All these things are percolating together and making it an absolute threat to us through coercion. And a lot of people were scared of it, even though they wouldn't take it. They know that they're not going to, but they know it's there. It becomes...
I went into Canada once and I felt my freedom slipping, and I came back. Never again.
Thing in your head where it's just a chant or an echo, where you're always like, well, it's a really bad day today, but at least I have MAID. We're having a health crisis.
I feel like if we gave Mel Gibson like 3 platoons of Marines, he could take over Canada by himself. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like Canada would be easy as fuck to conquer. Like, I feel like they would, like the Mounties, they're like, oh, alrighty then. And Mel Gibson's, you know, he would fucking rile everybody up enough, and yeah, I mean, it'd be like 300, but with Mel Gibson.
Right now, because of the privatization thing, so hospitals don't have beds. There's hallway medicine. I haven't seen a doctor in 4 years. There's none available. If you wanted to call any one of them near my house, you'll get an answering machine that says we're not taking new clients.
Okay.
So access to those things being denied, and then the federal government not giving us the disability benefit, both the provincial and the federal government shot down basic income. There's all these provisions they could do. They could do a national disability insurance.
It would probably be shit they lost their little bitch. Bro, they're still salty about that. No offense, Sammy. You know, you guys tried to take us over back in the day, but W America, dang. Sammy, are you and all your friends still salty that America beat you guys back in the Revolutionary War? Like is the UK still talking about that shit? You guys still mad? Because honestly, it's not that deep. We're over it now. I mean, we're proud as fuck. 4th of July, baby. But like, damn, not gonna lie, you got your asses handed to you because like we didn't have shit. Great Britain 0. Cause like, bro, it was just a bunch of farmers and some colonies. No real government. You know what I'm saying, bro? Not really. Okay, good. Because like, honestly, I fuck with you. Sammy, would you like to become an American with the rest of us? Join us. Join us. Honorary American. Well, she's like, oh, fuck no! Long live the Queen!
Plan like Australia, the NDIS. They could do basic income. They could do the Canadian disability benefit properly, where if we each got like
I'd like to, Sammy, as president of this cult, you are now American. Welcome to the US of A. America seems scary. It's really not. It's really not. Like the other day, someone said that, and like I looked up like the crime stats for like theft, for like SA and R word, and like it's by far higher in like Asian, European, and like Middle Eastern countries before America, which is insane because like the rate that it happens in other countries and the amount of times it happens in other countries is so significantly higher, despite our population being massively like 13, 15 times X higher than their populations. So like, bro, listen, America has one thing that no other country has. Like everyone's like, oh, America's so great, this. It is. But like, here's the problem with America is, bro, we have the worst fucking news, social media, like internet, internet, just like we have like our own society on the internet, like what's like how things operate and work, like it's all fucked. It's all fucked, you know what I'm saying? Only problem is we have is the guns. Nah, listen, that's why the reason we have guns is that's how we won the Revolutionary War. Because everyone was allowed to have a gun. Like in other countries, like when there's civil wars or like the government's like fucking them up, like in China, bro, the government, if they want to come and take say you worked hard and you built a company and you started making millions of dollars a year, and then the government's like, you don't deserve that, they come take it from you, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. You just take it, and because they have a fucking tank pointed at you and you have your fists. But like you do that shit in America, bro. Like I see like farmers, bro. They got miniguns out in their fields shooting down hogs. You know what I'm saying? Your southern accent. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Bro, I literally saw this video on Instagram. It was like some farmer in the back of his truck, and he had a bunch of hogs and his like wild hogs in his field, like fucking shit up. And he was driving through the fucking field with this big minigun. Like, bro, like that's just like a normal like civilian. Let me find the video. Now, I would say Japan's better because they have anime. So, like, we have things we could improve on. Like, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, bro, they have a thermal scope on it. It's kind of crazy. But basically, I don't know if you guys noticed, in the Midwest right now, a bunch of these like invasive species of hogs got loose, and they're costing like farmers like apparently like millions and millions of dollars right now out in the Midwest. And there's like no natural predators out there big enough to attack them or take care of them. There's no like mountain lions or bears because like they're big and strong as fuck. And so like they're reproducing like fucking crazy and apparently just like destroying millions and millions of fucking dollars worth of crops. It was not a bunny. No, they're giant like Pumbaa sized hogs that will like fucking wreck you. You gotta do what you gotta do. No, these oh yeah, and they attack humans. They're like killing people's dogs and shit. No, these are not the nice kinds of pigs that you can pet that might bump you. These are the ones with the big tusks that will fucking maul you. Hogs are scary. they're super fucking aggressive. They're like killing people's pets. What up, sweetie pie? And like, they're not the type of animal, like if you have a 22 or maybe even a 9mm, like a 9mm, you could get it out with a couple of shots. But like, if you had a 22 or a shotgun, like some shotguns kind of depends how you shoot them, where at, and how many times. But like, they can run through a bullet.
$2,000 or $3,000 more a month, and that was supplemented with other, basic income and a couple other things, we would all be able to thrive. But right now, across Canada, every single province and territory, their disability amount is at least 1 to 2 times below the poverty line.
This might go over a lot of people's heads, but one time I went hunting with my grandpa for turkey, and for whatever reason, my uncle brought a 308. I don't know if you know what 308 is, and he let me use it. And I shot a turkey with a 308, and there wasn't much of the turkey left, and I felt terrible because we were supposed to be eating them.
So it's
or just tanking bullets. I mean, on like weaker guns, yeah.
Unlivable if you're in a position where you can't work at this point.
And that's part of the coercion. Unlivable, right?
Why not go die?
It exploded. A 308 bullet's like that big. So like, you blew, bro. Oh yeah, dude, it exploded. And you're supposed to hit it like right here around the neck area, so you get most of the meat. The head's really small, so you're gonna miss or it's gonna run off. And most of the time, you shoot them with shotguns, with like birdshot, right? And yeah, I don't know. My uncle is just crazy, bro. I have one crazy uncle. He's always like tearing up cars and like fixing them, shooting his guns. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was. I don't know. Honestly, I was younger. I was like 19 at the time, so I didn't know what the fuck. I didn't know any better. I remember that shit kicked hard as fuck too. There's a bunch of feathers. It looked like I hit it. It looks like I hit it on the interstate going 80 miles per hour. That's what it fucking looked like. Like its butt and its legs were like kind of intact. Like imagine its legs and its like bottom half was just still kind of sitting there and the rest of it was gone. Like it was still standing there.
Right? It's more or less the
it wasn't standing, but
Heather, why are you vocally sharing your story about Maid?
Because I have crosshairs on my back.
Poor
and
turkey.
I need people to know it. I've said to all my family.
Yeah, I'm not proud of
friends,
it.
If you hear that they killed me by Maid, it's murder because I didn't consent.
It was only like my second or third time turkey hunting. The only thing I can go hunting for is birds. Like I know I'm a pussy for this, and I eat meat, all kinds of meat. I even eat deer, but I don't know if I can pull the trigger on a deer or bear or fox or rabbit. I can shoot. I've shot squirrels. I've shot turkeys. I've gone pheasant hunting. I like to fish, but like animals that like I can see their soul. I don't know, bro. I can't do it. I don't hate on people who can. Like I know it's food. I support hunting. I was raised in the South. Like I get it. My family hunts. I could do deer. Yeah, and like I said, no, like it's not a problem. But for me, like I don't know. I've seen like videos of people like petting deers and like family deers as pets, and like shit's way too cute. Wouldn't trust myself with a gun. I mean, like so one thing that like my family is very strict about is firearm safety. From the moment my dad first showed me our guns, so he was like, never play with it. He always kept a lock on it where you couldn't even pull the trigger. It goes behind the trigger basically. It's got a key and everything. Kept them locked up in a safe, and so like my dad always taught me to really respect guns and my brothers. So like, and taught us firearm safety, how to hold it, not to put your finger on the trigger, how to take it apart, how to clean it. I can't shoot it or eat it. And like I said, I respect that too. Like, safety on, no mag. Now, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I nowadays, bro, I've been carrying my gun, bro, and I just be putting that shit in my waistband, no safety, because like, I don't know. I've honestly probably gotten lazy because I only carry it when I go out. Like I'll put it in my waistband, walk to my car, then I put it in the door of my car, and then when I get out of my car, if I'm going somewhere where I can carry it in, I'll just put it back in my waistband while I'm doing whatever errand or whatever, and then when I get back to the car, back in the door.
Say that to them, but if I ever get to a place where I can't speak for myself, I can't trust.
I used to have like a little like holster, like little like concealed carry. It's a Smith & Wesson 9mm. I used to have like a little like concealed carry holster, and like holster I would carry it in, but like bro, that's just like I gotta pop it into my pants. That's too lazy for it.
not to do.
I got
not to
one.
speak out
No, I
just
have.
for me,
I
but for
had one. I don't
everybody
know where
else.
it's at
This
now,
is
but
not normal. This is not right. This is not ethical in any way, shape,
I've been
or
carrying it
form,
like a
and it
thug
should not
now.
be happening in a democracy, in a civilized country.
Or I wear my fanny pack and I carry my fanny pack.
Do you think many people who have
And I'll wear my fanny
tendencies
pack
are
around my
seeing
chest
AIDS
or
as
like
just an
or my
escape
little
route?
bags.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only caveat would be that I've watched for 30
Hands be
years while the
falling
supports
falling
were in place, and
down.
I don't trust
Now
they're
I
going to be in
tie
place
the
in 10
waistband really
years.
tight.
So where am I going to be in 10 years? How mobile am I going to be? How conscientious of myself am I going to be?
Ways for
Like,
that.
I don't even know if I'll be here because the amount of
And it's
stress I deal with,
uncomfy.
I'm always worrying about a heart attack or a stroke. Unfortunately, I think it is a bit of column A and column B. Column A being that it is social murder. It's a eugenics.
I don't wear
because
jeans
the
enough
people who
for
are
'em.
most going to apply are the ones who are the most vulnerable, and they're getting the least amount of help. So it's just obvious social engineering, eugenics, whatever you want to call it there. So since 2016, 45,000 people have been
I love
killed.
fishing.
13,000 were in 2022.
I'd rather
And that
fish
should be
than
the
hunt
big-
any day.
California has about the same population as Canada, and
See, isn't that insane? The state of California has a like just roughly bigger population than Canada. Than the whole country in one of our states. That's insane.
California's only done 850. Why are people killing themselves in Canada with made 16 times more than in California?
Do you think the doctors are coercing them into this being
Fishing
a good
is
option?
fun.
I think it's a perfect storm. I think it's homelessness, poverty, doctors, the misinformation, and the dying with dignity lobbyists. It's going to be George Orwell. It's going to be 1984. It's going to be any of those warnings that we were getting, where you're literally too poor to live. Let us take your organs, and you saved us $86 million. News media is not covering it because they're all corporate owned. It's been an absolute nightmare to get eyeballs on this. It's usually
I'm in
foreign
Canada.
press that comes and wants
Have you
to
heard
cover
of
Made in
Made
Canada.
before?
Okay. It's dystopian.
It's a big problem here because right now it costs us $80 billion to maintain poverty. So why wouldn't they start reinvesting that and redistributing that and getting some people off the streets? They also let in way too many immigrants. The one other thing that I've been worried about, I said it last year and I don't know how in place it is made in prison. Because if
Freaking
you think
fishing
about
toy.
it,
You guys remember the rocket rod? You would it was like a blue and orange little rod, and you'd shoot it, and when you shot it, it had like this the fishing line, but on the end it had like that bobber, and when the hit the water, the bobber would open up and drop the hook, and you would shoot it like a little like Nerf gun. But things are pretty bad.
you could kill a political prisoner, get them sent to prison, make Made their only option, which is what we're all dealing with out here. If life's unlivable in there for them, they will choose
So
Made,
apparently
and
there's
you just
something
take
called Made in Canada where the government it's assisted sewer slide by the government.
someone out without even firing a shot. It's a further hypothetical,
Oh,
but that's the
yeah.
slippery slopes direction.
And I've
There we
also
go.
heard that minors who may qualify for the mental illness track and deformed babies or babies with severe disabilities are now being considered. Is that real?
Yeah, that was real. That was a doctor in Quebec trying to table that. And I think that Dying with Dignity is also trying to put children in later on, but trying to get the win right now with the solely mental illness. That's the biggest problem with these types of programs.
Oh
It is
my
always a slippery
God.
slope. It's always something
Children?
more has to be included. And that's what the UK is really echoing, where it's like, we might put this in place, but look what happened to Canada. Now they're doing this and this, and purely solely mental illness. Like, that's crossing the line.
Sacrifices.
And if you go back,
Bro,
in time
they
2 years
definitely
ago, if
do
it was
something with the
sold to you and
babies.
pushed on you by multiple doctors, do you think you would have
Sacrifice
taken
them
them up on
to
it?
an
100%, because I don't
overlord.
care about my life, and I want to
So
change.
for adults who are in extreme grieving or irreparably consolable, and people who are in immense pain and incurable treatments can now get assisted suicide in Canada. In 2022, it was 13,000 people, 13,000 used it. And they said in 2024 it doubled, but they don't have the official numbers yet till the end of the year. That's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. And now they're talking about who else can be eligible for it. And so if they put even more people eligible for it, it'll increase even more than 2 times in going into 2025. That's nuts.
Things. And my biggest goal doing all this,
That's some like Kalira.
see that I
Indiana
do, is
Jones
to make sure
type
that I
shit.
don't happen again. That there isn't some 17-year out there about to go homeless and be 18, selling his body on the streets, living in squalor, becoming an alcoholic, and just bouncing around for 20-odd, 30-odd years, not understanding what was going on and who was doing it to him. But now that I'm an advocate, I'm on the other end of that, and I realized somebody was advocating for me when I was out under those bridges and in those cardboard boxes, and that now I have to represent 1,000, maybe a couple thousand who are out there right now like that, in shelters, who are on the street, who aren't vocal, who aren't articulate, who don't have the spot to be able to do these kinds of messages. And that's who I'm
you.
fighting for. Yeah.
I think you need to remain here. Now you have responsibility on your shoulders. Is there a world where MAID could be implemented against your own will at some point if some medical problem happened?
If this pandemic treaty is signed, people don't understand what's in this treaty. It's far beyond just pandemic.
Tell me what's in this treaty.
It seizes control of healthcare, period, in the nations that sign up for it. They can force vaccinate anybody with any vaccine they deem necessary. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh my
There's
God.
other laws on our books right now. We've got a Bill 63, I think it is, that's in third reading right now, that would make speaking out against our government jailable.
Just like Great Britain.
There was a time
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm pretty sure Canada is mostly just like fines, community service, like getting stuff on your record, whatnot. They don't really jail you, but in the UK, they put your ass in jail.
nations stood up for democracy and
Struggle
fought
and
for
shame.
freedom, but this is a different kind of warfare now, and nations are being taken without a shot being fired. It's scary. People need to wake up because it's not going to be very long before there's no going back.
While euthanasia seems to be a more controllable death for those with debilitating
Like
terminal
the
illnesses and predictable
Dark Souls
expiration
meme.
dates, one must wonder who else with the ability to live a meaningful life might be allured to the permanent escape it offers. Perhaps the country should measure its humanity not by the ease in which it will help you end your life, but rather by the creation of infrastructure to help those suffering short-term hardships to get back on their feet and become productive members of society. In 2022, 63% of MAID users cited cancer as their reason to die, while only 3.5% of those who used MAID did not have terminal illnesses with foreseeable death dates. But that's an increase from 2.2% of all MAID users back in 2021, as the eligibility to receive MAID will expand to those solely.
Chat, it is truly the most evil, fucking cruel thing in the world. If there actually is a cure for cancer out there and all the governments are conspiring to hold it back to keep this whole, like, cancer industry rolling with the chemo and the medicines and the creams and then the aftercare, the before care, the during care, the surgeries, like, that's crazy, bro. Like, cancer is that's insane. It's insane. So basically, like, 8,000 of the people of the 13K that used it, 8,000 basically had cancer. They were suffering so immensely from cancer that they were like, just end it for me, please. And chemotherapy costs so much. Yeah, that's actually fucking nuts, dude. Because, like, I hear that conspiracy theory so much, and, like, obviously, like, I could probably lean towards this being true. I would not be surprised if it was, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, dude. Who charges these prices? I mean, it depends on which country, because, like, the only way for this conspiracy of the cancer treatment being hidden and suppressed is if every single nation was in on it. Because if one country was like, we have the cure for cancer, you can come get it, everyone would be like flying to that country for their cancer treatments. Like how people fly to Miami for boob jobs, or they fly to Colombia to get cheap liposuction. They fly to Brazil for cheap BBLs, or they go to Turkey for cheap veneers, or whatever it is.
With mental illnesses in 2027, will more and more people look to MAID to escape the harsh
Very
reality of
crazy.
living in Canada? And will other countries look to Canada while building their own euthanasia program? And please go show some love to Heather, who just wrote a book, and show some love to Mitchell, who does graphic design.
Yeah, check out those two people, chat.